Welcome back, everyone, to Ludus Infinium. Today we are talking about, well, quite frankly, my least favorite Space Marine Legion of the first founding, and that is the 6th Legion, the Space Wolves. Currently under Logan Grimnar, their Primarch Lemon Russ, or as he's more popularly known, Lemon Russuchan. Woo. Primarch of the Space Furries. Yes, there will be jokes. Yes, this will piss people off. No, I don't care. So, their fortress monastery of the Fang is on their home world, Fenris, a death world, a frozen hellhole, where all of the furries belong. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean real world furries. I mean the space furries. Space wolves are bad. Anyway. Now, to be fair, let's talk about the good things about the Space Wolves. And now that that's over, now, joking aside, I will say that I did enjoy doing the research on the lore. I did learn a few new things. They're still my least favorite Loyalist Legion right now. That could change. One of the Loyalist Legions I was really ambivalent about shot up to my favorite, which would be the 5th Legion, the White Scars. So, is it possible the Space Wolves stay my least favorite? It's possible. Is it likely? Probably. I don't like them. Now, that being said, let's talk about who are the Space Wolves. One of my favorite comparisons is I like comparing the Space Wolves to have the tactics of the Sons of Horus and Luna Wolves, the smash hard shock troop, take out the enemy command as quickly as possible. Well, not really enemy command, just take out the enemy as quickly as possible. Mentality of tactics of the Luna Wolves with the mentality of the World Eaters. They have a bloodlust that I am surprised more of them have not fallen to corn. Now, to be fair, one of the nice things about them being loyalist is they are very fervent in their loyalty. And you know what? That's fine and good. That's all really cool. There's nothing bad about it. That's one of their cooler aspects is Leman Russ, even though he was tricked by Horus to attempt to kill Magnus the Red, he did it out of loyalty to the Emperor, so I guess you could say he had good reasons for doing it. I don't think so. I think he's just a gullible simp, but meh, what you gonna do? Anyway, so they tend to specialize with melee weapons, some of their favorite being the lightning claws, which are really, really cool weapons. So at least they have some good taste in weapons. Now, a couple more interesting things about the Space Wolves. They have a dreadnought, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who is from 30k. He is the oldest living dreadnought. He is the oldest living Astartes, including dreadnoughts. Full stop. And this is kind of cool because this is someone who lived through the Horus Heresy, who has lived through everything through 40k, and every 1,000 years they wake him up to hear about the old man's tales who can barely remember what his own name is at this point. Because the benefit of being alive for 10,000 years old is he's going kind of senile. And it's not his fault. It's partly due to the fact that he's 10,000 fucking years old, at the least. And when an Astartes gets turned into a dreadnought, they experience time a lot differently, especially long-lived ones. So they can confuse the time, and then they'll assume it's one time when it's really not. So he's kind of like the senile uncle sitting there in the rocking chair, like, come over here, let me tell you the story about back when I was in Vietnam and we killed the Germans, and yeah, I'm going to take a nap now. Anyway, Now, to be fair, that was kind of a crude joke on that, but it's really kind of what it is at that point. Their memory is just that far gone. But he has lived through some amazing stuff. In fact, one of the coolest things about the Space Wolves, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, after I handled the burning of Prospero. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, contrary to the 6th Legion being my least favorite Loyalist Legion, my favorite Traitor Legion is, of course, the Thousand Sons. And no, I don't. It's not that I don't like the Space Wolves because of their thorough pounding of the Thousand Sons butt cheeks. It is because I just don't like them. I don't like their stories. I don't like. I've always seen them as one-dimensional. In doing the research for them, they're not as one-dimensional as I thought. But they're not as. I think they're not as well told as some of the other legions, loyal and traitor. But that aside, we're going to go over the burning of Prospero. So, the Emperor sent the Space Wolves to bring Magnus to Earth, basically to spank that red baboon's ass cheeks till it was even more red. And what ends up happening is along the way, Horse is like, oh, hey, Lemon. Dad called and he said, don't even bother bringing him back. Just kill him. And at this point, Lemon made a horrible, horrible mistake. And that was verification. He didn't get any. And he just did it because of his natural bloodlust and anger towards the Thousand Sons and Magnus. So, they go to attack Prospero and throw the Thousand Sons a beating they would not forget. Literally, they would never forget, ever. And afterwards, Magnus, being the vengeful little prick that he is, decided, you know what would be fun? Let's fuck with the Space Wolves. Because reasons. And so, at one time, the Dark Angels were circling the Space Wolf, like the system, or the system, the solar system that Fenris was in. And what a Zinchian demon called the Changeling got somehow changed himself to look like the Master of Vox, and convinced them to open fire on the planets. And then the Grey Knights came aboard and said, that's a demon. To the Dark Angels. Yeah. Wish they never would have caught that. Anyway, so you have the Loyalists attacking the Space Wolves home system, and at the same time, they're getting attacked by the Thousand Sons and by demons. And hilariously enough, I learned what a Silver Tower of Zinch is. And these things are nasty. And in the battle, they realigned so that they summoned the Demon Primarch Magnus the Red, because you know he's going to show up in person to spank the Space Wolf's ass like he got his spanked 10,000 years ago. And he almost succeeded. However, after he killed the leader of the Space Wolves and the leader of the Grey Knights in of that particular group, Logan Grimnar managed to beat him into submission so the rest of the Grey Knights could banish him, and I am thoroughly ashamed of him. But, that being said, let's talk about something else really interesting as far as the Space Wolves. The Wolfen. This was also part of what didn't really help their case. This is part of why the Dark Angels thought there was a potential for corruption, is because they found their werewolf cosplaying furry friends. I mean, they're all furries, it's just some are better at the cosplay than others. Well, not cosplay, mersuits. Anyway. I don't feel bad about any of these jokes, and that really does come down to my hatred for the Space Wolves. I just really don't like them. But one thing that I can say, like I did say, the one thing that I really can respect about the Space Wolves is their unyielding loyalty to the Imperium. That I kind of respect. Does not make up for the rest of it. Does not make up for the fact that they're just furry fucking world eaters. Doesn't make up for the fact that I just think that their storytelling is bland. Doesn't really make up for the fact that someone who was weaker than the two predecessors, having been slain by Magnus the Red, was able to restrain him enough for the rest of the Grey Knights to banish him back to the warp. So there's a lot of issues I have with their storytelling. There's quite a few MacGuffins in there. There's just... They have plot armor like every other Loyalist Legion, like some of the Traitor Legions as well. So it's one of those things where I try and balance it out a little bit because I know it's going to be there. But for the Space Wolves, I couldn't care less. So I just made it a point where I don't like them. It's really hard for me to like them. It is. I've tried a couple times. I tried looking at them in a more positive light. I can't. And I apologize for anyone that does upset. I mean, I really don't. I don't apologize if it upsets anyone that I don't like a particular Legion. But it just comes down to personal preference. So, to get back on track with the Wolfen. They were Space Wolves that, I don't want to say got corrupted, but got corrupted. And ended up turning into werewolves. And this is it depends on who you ask. There are some Space Wolves that see them as brothers. There are some that see them as a curse. Most of the Imperium see them as a curse. The Inquisition wants to fucking wipe out the Space Wolves. There's a lot going on. And then let's talk about one of the major reasons why I really do not like that big fat fucking lemon and his furry legion. The Rune Seers. Or I think that's what they're called. Rune Seers, I believe. Essentially, they're psychers who they claim aren't psychers, which is kind of dumb. They are... I don't know. Rune Priest. Sorry, not Rune Seers. Rune Priest. So, these are librarians for all intents and purposes. That's exactly what they are. But they don't see them as that because they pull from the animal spirits, not the warp. But no, that's what it is. But you're retarded. No, that's what it is. So there was a lot of them trying to explain to the Rune Priests that they are in fact psychers, and they just don't want to hear it. Because they don't like the psychos. Anyway. But short of that, for what they are, the Space Wolves are a very loyal legion. They are probably a little bit too bloodthirsty for their own good. And they specialize in in-your-face CQC. And they are fucking good at it. And that's about the most positive thing I'll say about them. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to support the channel, subscribe, leave a like, join Discord. Link is always in the description. Leave ideas for lore videos or for gameplay videos that you would like to see. If you want to donate to the channel, there's always a link for a Streamlabs and Patreon in the description. But the most important thing of all, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!